Well, good morning, man.
Today is June the 21st. So we turn to the book of Proverbs, chapter 21, for God's daily dose of wisdom. And as I was reading through Proverbs 21, verses 12 and 13 jumped off the page, and they read like this. The righteous one considers the house of the wicked, turning the wicked to ruin. He who shuts his ear to the cry of the poor will also cry himself and not be answered. Okay, who is the righteous one, and what is the house of the wicked? What are you talking about, Lord? Well, the house of the wicked is also in Proverbs chapter 14, verse 11, where we read this. The house of the wicked will be destroyed, but the tent of the upright will flourish. Note the disparity between the house of the wicked and the tent of the upright. In fact, if you drill down into the Hebrew, the disparity is even greater, because the house of the wicked, that word for house there, is actually rendered as palace. And that word tent is actually a goatskin dwelling. It's really a tent. So the disparity between the house of the wicked and the tent of the upright is great. So what's he talking about? Well, some commentators have said that house in Proverbs 21:12 is the heart of the wicked and God is the righteous one. But we need to be careful about turning the Bible into a book of metaphors. We have to ask ourselves, what does the verse say on its face? What is the literal meaning of the author? What do the words literally mean? And then we have to ask ourselves, what does it say in context? So Proverbs is a book of wisdom, written to God's people, describing the path of righteousness versus the path of evil, reveals Jesus in the book of Proverbs. And the righteous one is a person that's following after God's ways. He's a disciple of Christ. So considering the house of the wicked means the righteous one, a disciple of Christ, doesn't turn a blind eye to wickedness. Turning the wicked to ruin means that he's not passive about wickedness, but he actively opposes it. Edmund Burke said in a famous quote, "The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing." Well, if you're a follower of Jesus, doing nothing about evil is simply not an option. Now, we have to stand against evil with grace, mercy, and compassion. We don't surrender our identity in Christ in the process, but we're not passive either. Now, verse 13 is a close cousin to verse 12. Because we must also be busy in the hearing of the cry of the poor and meeting those needs. We cannot be passive there either. You might say to yourself, well, I don't have the means necessary in order to be able to help the poor. Warren Wiersbe once said that ministry happens when God's resources meet human needs through loving conduits for the glory of God. It's not our resources, it's God's resources. So if God brings something to your attention, it's not that you need to meet that need necessarily. You might, but more likely, God is wanting to use you so that his resources can meet that need. So don't be afraid and don't be passive in regards to meeting the needs of the poor. We need to be active in that area as well. So we need to be on the field, not in the stands. We need to be in the battle, not sitting on the sidelines. In other words, we need to be engaged. But our engagement is unique because we read in 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4, that the weapons of our warfare are not of the flesh, but divinely powerful for the destruction of fortresses. Our engagement is through prayer. It's through being available to God so that he can use us to meet those needs. It's for standing against evil in ways that are not necessarily obvious, but stand we must. So we need to be in the battle. We need to be engaged. That's the word for today. My brothers and sisters, I love each and every one of you. And I pray that you go out and you make a difference in someone's life today. God bless you.